Hey guys, so yesterday the Webflow launched their new AI site builder. Now it's in beta, so fair play to them for launching something that still in V1. Lots of discussions on Twitter, on Slack channels about the benefits of this and the downsides of this. And generally, I've probably come out with a bit of a negative twist on it. And I thought what I'll do is just reframe this a little bit in the context of what Webflow are trying to do with this tool. Okay, so I've been told that the aim of this is to try and get more people into Webflow, more new users into Webflow. So it's not aimed at existing users. It's not aimed at existing designers or developers who know their way around Webflow. It's designed to try and get people into Webflow really quickly and showcase the platform, because then, if you get more users, they'll start, getting their hands on the tool and start working out how Webflow works and seeing the power, I suppose. So I thought I'd try and explain how this works in the context of I'm a new user and I'm looking to find something that will get me somewhere in terms of launching a website for my business. But I've got a few options out there. Okay, so the first option obviously is to try the site builder. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and put a prompt into the site builder and see what it comes out with. The second option in the Webflow ecosystem, at least, is the idea that I could purchase a template. So I could buy a template where someone else has done a lot of the heavy lifting of creating pages, creating all the layouts, adding assets in, thinking about style, thinking about how things interact with each other, linking up all the pages, linking up all the sections within the pages. And what I'd have to do is buy the template, sorry, and then I go in and change the copy and switch out the assets and the logo and all that kind of stuff to make it look like my business. Um, and then the third one, which is very related to the AI, is the idea of using something like Relume. Now, Relume is a little bit more involved here, in that yes, you can generate like a sitemap and a set of pages, and it's actually very, very good at doing that. When then you need a little bit more sort of technical nous to get that into Webflow. And then once you're in Webflow, there actually isn't any style on it. It's very much a wireframe generator. And then you need to start, hooking up styles and thinking about the design and how things work together. So there's three different angles here that I'm coming at. But it's just to try and showcase where I think the AI site builder is sort of falling between the cracks a little bit, in the fact that it's trying to introduce new users to Webflow in a way that will get them to understand the power of Webflow and then hopefully become a long-term customer. So I'm just going to do this as quick as I can. These things take a little bit of time, so I'm just going to go into the AI site builder here and click on here. I actually could go into the template, but I'll do that in a minute. So I'm going to do it for a business, and it's going to be I don't know, Tom's recruitment headhunting service. Okay, so I'm just going to set up a recruitment. Okay, and I've got a prompt ready to go. It's all about a professional, engaging, user-friendly website for a recruitment agency based in the UK's West Country, covering Somerset, Devon, Cornwall. I actually used AI to generate this prompt. I gave it some parameters. The website should effectively serve both clients looking to hire and candidates seeking new opportunities. So it's quite a detailed prompt. Like, we have 5,000 characters to use, so we could put lots more detail in there. I'm not entirely sure how much the AI picks up on that, but we'll see how it does. Okay, so I click on next here, and yeah, okay, I do want a professional looking website. I don't care about light or dark, to be honest. Brand, voice, and tone. Well, let's have a look. I want it balanced, educational, catchy, executive, insightful. I tell you what, let's go for executive, because I am dealing with a professional clientele. Primary colors, Oh, interesting. Okay, so my logo itself is actually orange. So I'm going to click on it. It's not actually that orange, but it's an orange. So, okay. Okay, I'm going to click on that orange. It's actually a deeper orange. It's more like that orange, maybe. No, I'm going to go with that orange there. Okay, so let's generate that. Okay. At the same time, while that's generating, what I'm going to do is go into Relume and do the same. So I've got straight into a Relume project here. I'm going to put the same prompt in here. Okay, so this is actually, it gives me the choice of number of pages. As I say, the style guide comes later, and it's very much a very early offering, and it's not going to pretend it's going to create a site for you. It's all about creating a theme. So I'm going to generate the sitemap here. Not a language. Let's go UK. Generate the sitemap. Okay, so okay, that's off it goes. It's quite. I really like the fact that it shows me what it's doing, but it doesn't make a difference, to be honest. Okay, so I think it's doing something. Anyway, let's go back to the site builder here. Okay, it's still working. Okay, now we're into Tom's recruitment headhunting service design. Okay, so we're into an experience of sorts. Whoa, okay, so this is executive, a bit more professional. Okay, so connecting talent with opportunity. Ooh, okay, so there's lots. Okay, it's relatively basic. Obviously, we've got stock imagery. I wasn't allowed to upload any imagery. It's got the orange theme to it. Okay, so it's got testimonials is nice. Okay, so I can maybe swap out a different layout. Okay, no, I'm gonna go with that one. Maybe the hero. I'm gonna go something a bit. Yeah, yeah. That's feels a little bit more professional and less in your face. That's a bit too fancy for me, to be honest. Now that works. Okay, so this hits me in the eye, and okay, so then I hire talent and find jobs. That makes a lot of sense. How do I start? What industries? Okay, so it's really good on the content side. I think, obviously it's got Z here, which isn't how you specialize in England, in the UK. So that obviously I'd need to go through and correct all this, but I'd imagine I'm going to do this in Webflow. It's got some random little thing here. Like generally, it's not like, oh, okay, so I've got a footer, so I've actually got a blog, I've got guides, I've got FAQ, so it looks like I've got a lot of stuff here. Now this is impressive, like the fact that it's generated a blog for me, some guides, some FAQ is very cool. But yeah, I'm generally happy with that. What have we got here on the left? We've got so theme. I'm actually going to stick with this theme now. I'm not going to play around with it. Colors. This looks like a lollipop. I don't know what so I'm guessing it's using orange, yellow, and green. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what this is. Are these? Yeah, I can't actually. Oh no, they are changing. Oh dear, let's go back to. So these, what are these? These are. I'm not entirely sure what they're meant to be. I've never seen these little sticks before, and I'm not sure what the middle, like the larger one does, or the double ones do. I'm guessing it's a theme of some sort, but I thought the theme was up there. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what this is. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to play. I do want to. I want to go back to orange. Okay. Okay. So, and then typography. Oh, gee, something's going wrong here. Extra small. No, I don't want extra small. I just want to keep with my large. Let's go medium, actually. Okay, so this is interesting. The fact that it's got, tiny. I really like t-shirt sizing in the way that I think about stuff. But remember, I'm a new user, so I haven't thought about design systems yet. And then you've got the font packs, sans serif, mixed, mono. So I guess I do know what serif is. Serif might be a nicer, because I am a professional service. Okay, that does that. Sections. What does this do? Okay, sections. Choose a section pack. Sections either start with an inverse variant or sprinkle in inverse sections to create a higher contrast look. I'm not entirely sure what this is going to do. I'm going to click on something to see what happens. Okay, so this is like a theme almost, I think. Images. Okay, okay, so I can change these out a little bit. No, I like no, I don't want a guy in a chef's outfit, to be honest, but that's just bright white. Okay, let's leave that. Buttons. I actually want to take the shine off the buttons, to be honest. I don't like the fact that it's shiny. That looks a bit... Oh, okay, here's some nicer. Simple bold. There we go. Simple bold. And then what have we got? Forms. I don't actually have any forms on the site of them. Oh, I suppose I'll have a contact form, but I'll do that later on. And cards. Okay, so they've got cards. What are they? Simple, small, shadow. Okay, so basically cards are all about shadows. Yeah, interesting. Okay, again, I'm going to go for small shadow, I think. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy enough with this. So I'm going to go and start building that. Okay, and then let's go back to my Relume. Okay, so it's given me a site map. But it hasn't given me the page. Let's go and look in the wireframe, see what it's done. Okay, so it hasn't actually given me these. Why is it not giving me these? Oh, generate page. Okay, so I can generate that page, generate that page. Okay. So what it's doing is generating it all off my prompt, I'm guessing. Okay, so now I've got, this isn't designed, this is just wireframe. So your local recruitment partner, okay, so it's taken the design out, which means it's actually a lot easier for me to think about. I'm not thinking about the design at the moment. All I'm thinking about is the content on the page, which I find really interesting. Like, obviously, I don't want this. I'm thinking I need a designer now, so I'm going to have to pay a designer to come in and bring this alive, which is maybe not what I want at this stage. I just want to get a website launched, but it's working. It's working. Okay. So let's go back to here. Okay, so now I've got it. I'm in Webflow. Brilliant. So now I've got this website, and okay, I'm going to pretend I know how to publish. So I'm going to go publish the site and click publish. So I haven't connected it to the domain, so I'm just going to go publish. And the fact that I can see this now, obviously we all know as developers that this bit of seeing something on a website is one of the most exciting parts of your initial journey. So we know that getting something live is one of those amazing atomic aha moments. It's sort of, you do, when back in the day you'd write your HTML and link up your CSS style guide and write some CSS and, the hello world type of vibe. And as soon as you got it live onto a server, local, but then you got it onto a server and you shared it with someone, that's when it feels really real. So the fact you can get to this really quickly is really nice. Like with Relume, it is a little bit more now to get into that stage, which means it's not really real, is it? So on that sense, I now feel like I'm a website builder. So I've built my own website. Now, I guess a lot of this Squarespace, Wix, they're designed in that vein, and so they get you there very, very quickly. So that's great. I think that is really great. I'm not entirely sure why you need AI to get you there, because, as I said, like, let's go in and have a look at how we can do it from a template. So if I'm on templates here, which is everyone's used to templates, is I'm going to put in recruitment into here. Okay, so I can't put in a prompt that gives me specifics, so I have to go and shop for recruitment. Now the template search and find in Webflow is quite problematic. Is that, look, I want recruitment, and I now say, okay, there's prices. Now these prices are unbelievably good value for what you get. Obviously you can only use them once, but as a business owner who wants a website, paying $49 or $79 for a something that looks this good is pretty unbelievable value. But I might want to go and have a free one. So I click on free. Unfortunately, it takes me out of the recruitment search now. So I can't search for free recruitment websites, which maybe there aren't any, but that's a bit of a weird, in this day and age, and in the fact that, you know, this is a template search is like, yeah, I would say you should be able to overlay filters on each other. But let's ignore that and go, do you know what? I really like the look of this one. So I'm going to view the details of this, and I'm looking at it. Okay, and now I'm in the world of what was presented to me off the back of the Webflow AI builder. It's like I can see a style, I can see pictures, I can see how it might look. I can navigate through pages, which I think is actually really good, because it not only gives me the home page, but it gives me other pages. It gives me the contact pages, service pages here, for example, price plans, team of experts. Like, there's a lot covered here, and so I'm going to look at this and go, okay, I'm going to preview this, and okay, so now straight away I'm a little bit nervous because this isn't what I saw, so I have to do a little bit of poking around here. This is all about marketing the template, okay? But if I go up here and okay, I can look at demo. I don't know what this explore demo does. Okay, so I can now look at the pages. So if I go look at the home page, let's go and have a look at a home page. Okay, so okay, this is impressive. This looks like I could really. I would want this to be my website. This is like it's got a navigation. Okay, the navigation hasn't been filled. Well, some of it has been filled out. Okay, this is nice. You know, it does feel very dev centric. It hasn't filled in the copy, but yeah, it has little touches, like little animations are very cool. Yeah, maybe I'm biased. Maybe I just like this more than the AI thing that the AI turned out. You know, maybe like, is there a lot of difference? You could argue that there isn't to the untrained eye. There isn't a lot of difference, but I don't know. This feels like it's going to get me there anyway. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to preview this in Webflow. Now I'm not going to buy it on this video, but the idea here is that I can just have a look and play around with it. Okay, so now we're going to do a head-to-head on the AI experience versus a template experience. So let's do the template to start with. Okay, so I want to edit this piece of text. Okay, ooh, whoa. Okay, so straight away it's not as usable as I thought it might be. I can't edit the text. Okay, so this hasn't been set up very well. So straight away, that is the downside of templates. Now there is obviously a bit of a sort of safety. So what's the word, like a sense check? The Webflow team sense check templates before they go live, but this feels like, yeah, this one's been allowed to get through the cracks a little bit, and so it looks good. It's the imagery and stuff, but I just can't use it. So let's go and look at one of the home pages instead. Now again, this is I know how to do this, but as a new user, maybe this will take me a while to work out where the pages are. And I'm in a very, I'd say complex, but a very full-on environment here where I've just been dumped into this tool, and I'm a new user. And yes, I want to get a website live, but also I want to be confident that I can use this in the future. So it feels like, yeah, I used it on X the other day. It's like I'm learning to sail, and I'm currently on an America's Cup super yacht, because there's all sorts of stuff I can do. So it's a really hard balance to strike for Webflow to onboard people to this tool, because there is so much power. And it means that the complexity is all there all of the time. So it's very hard to sort of get people onto the Webflow journey really gently and softly. So that in that instance, what I'm going to try and do is look at how soft this landing is with a template versus maybe the AI. Now, I want to change the title, so I can do that. So I'm going to just go, West Country Recruitment Agency. Okay, okay, this is a component. I didn't know this is a component, but it's green, so it looks different. So I need to learn what a component is. There isn't any props in here, so it's not like I can change out the logo. There's something on the right hand side where I can change out the logo. I could change out okay, this looks, it's got a play button, so maybe this is a video. So how do I change that? You know, it's not intuitive because Webflow is complex. So like getting someone into this environment, I don't think is a great way to it's not a great way to onboard people, but we know that it's very hard to onboard people. Like I've done onboarding stuff with tools like this before, and you know, the little tooltips up here and a little guide, and it's very hard. It's very hard because I just want to dive in and make stuff. So I appreciate that's very hard. But if we were to look at and compare, contrast here, I've got this is classes again. Let's call them style selectors for argument's sake. But maybe I know about classes. Who knows? There's a section title. Okay, that makes sense. That feels like that is a section, and this is a title, and this is a section description. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so what if I want to make this a little bit bigger? Well, I might go down and look at size. Okay, let's go and look at typography. Okay, so now I've got 38 pixels. Okay, so imagine if I want to make it bigger, I do 44 pixels. Brilliant. And it says here 7 on this page, 20 on other pages. So, okay, let's assume that I know that that's going to change it everywhere. Brilliant. Okay, so I haven't had to deal with variables, but there is a little pink thing here, a purple thing here. There aren't any variables. Now, maybe I don't know what variables are, but maybe I actually do know what variables are. So maybe I want to go and set up a variable now that section title uses a variable. So I might click on that and click and, okay. Again, complexity is not our friend here because I'm now presented with all sorts of options. Now, even as someone who uses variables, this confuses me a little bit because I've never seen the collection. Well, I do know what collections are, but yeah. Anyway, I'm trying not to get distracted by the flaws of me being onboarded here, but like that's a good example. Okay, so these things, personally, they're taking the kind of Timothy Ricks Lumos approach, which is give everything a custom class because it allows you to treat it independently, but also add utility classes on later on, which is brilliant, I think. It's kind of the advanced way to do things, but also the baby steps way to do things as well. So again, we've got section title here, but this one's white. Okay, so the size is 44. Okay. Which is okay, and then the color is white. So that kind of makes sense. It's like, right, it's text white. So what if I take this off again? It doesn't go white. What if can I put anything else? Text, like, I don't know, green? No. Okay, so I'm just going to use text white. Okay, and then we've got circle blocks, WCU. I'm not sure what that is, but section titles, service titles. Okay, so there's a CMS in here as well now. So this purple is different to this blue, which means that, okay, I'm getting the purple. Anyway, let's not spend too long on the template, but I'm hoping to get the point that this template gives an opportunity to be deliberate about thinking about this could be for a new user. Like, the class system isn't something that I would use on my dev projects, but my dev project isn't necessarily designed for new users. It's designed for marketing teams to use in build mode. So this is a good example of where things are nice and clear, semantically clear. There's not a lot of complexities here. I can actually change things if I want. You know, primary button block, I can go in and say I want that to be like, I don't know. There you go. I want that. Like, it's relatively simple, but also it's really empowering because I can, you know, it's doing what Webflow does, which is empower the visual changes to be seen on the page. And that makes me go, Webflow just works. And in fact, this is what happened when I first started. I was using Figma to do a prototype and for a big fancy league campaign website. that wasn't going to be built in Webflow, but I used Webflow. Why? Because it felt easier to use than Figma. So yeah, anyway, let's go back into the AI. We've got in the AI here, okay, so we've got similar. So let's go in here. Now I click on here, now I've got H1 heading. Now, okay, H1 heading. What does H1 heading mean? Okay, let's assume that I know what a H1 is. It's a H1 heading, okay? And then this one is a subheading. That makes sense. A subheading makes sense. Now, I'm not sure I actually want it over 2 lines here, so I'm gonna put it down to there. Now, we all know that that's not a good idea, because when we get down to mobile, maybe not this one. It's not too bad, actually. It's not the best idea to how to deal with text, but hey, it looks good. So it's a subheading. This is a button. Now this has something added here, which is primary button on inverse. So, okay, that's not necessarily really easy to understand, but I'm assuming it's the primary button color on an inverse. Okay. This is where I started to struggle yesterday, was looking at these class systems and going, okay, does that make more sense? Like primary button on inverse, like this is a button. What's this one here? Okay, so this is a button. Now it's a secondary button, and now it's a secondary button on inverse. So this one is only a button with primary button on inverse. So it's not a button with primary button. But this one is a button, secondary button on inverse. Hopefully you can see where I'm going with this, is that, yeah, I've been sort of vocal and saying it hasn't been well thought out, and some people said it has been well thought out, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm a new user, so do I care about how well thought out it is? Probably not. But it's not helping me understand the tool better. It's not helping me dive in here. So if, for example, now I go in and I want to change something on this, so I want this actually to be green. So I've got join us up there, but I want higher talent to be green. So I go down here and it says accent primary. Okay, so I'm going to change this to green. So, okay, so it's got, these are variables, but there seems to be lots of colors here. So let's go and change it to green. Green. Okay, I don't have any greens. How do I change it to green? Now I know that I can unattach that. So anyway, I'm going to unattach it and change this to green. Oh, there you go. Unfortunately, the button up there is also changing as well. Okay, I don't want that to happen. So how do I just change the color of this button? Okay, let's undo that maybe. Let's go and find another button maybe. Let's find, here we go. What about that one? Okay, this is just a button. Okay, so I'm going to change that button to green. How do I do this again? Unattach this. And okay, so no, there you go. That's my green. Okay, let's go up here. So these now are not green, because I think these are actually button with primary button on inverse. Okay, so that means here that this button is green. Okay, so and this one is green as well, but I don't want this to be green. I want this to be a different color. I want this to be orange. So I'm guessing I go primary button. Okay, I've got all sorts. Primary button on accent primary, but primary button on inverse. There you go. So that's orange now. Okay, so, but again, I'm trying to be a little bit stupid here, but also trying to put myself in the shoes of a new user. Is that it's not explicitly clear what's going on here, because there is actually a style guide behind it, and the style guide is extensive. So I'm just going to look at that style guide. Not that this is something that I do as a new user, really. The word style guide is still quite a something that experts use, I suppose. Designers and devs know what a style guide is. If you're not, the style guide is, the brand people, marketing people know what style guides are, but maybe a small business owner wouldn't. So now there is a style guide here. which means I could go and look at all the buttons. So the buttons here, okay, so let's go and find where let's go to the preview. It's a bit easier. It's buttons. Okay, so that's not even linked up. So this style guide is not even linked up. So it's unusable as a style guide in the intent that it has a navigation. So I would have to go in and link all these up. Now, this feels like a little bit like they've missed a trick here. If you're going to create a style guide, maybe make it usable, because otherwise it's yeah, like obviously now I can go and scroll down to find a button. Let's go and find the buttons. Where is it? It's under spacing. It's in components. Okay, let's go and have a look at buttons. Okay, buttons. Okay, so now I've got a button. And now what is this one? This is a small button, and this is then button on accents, button on accent, button, second button, secondary button on. Yeah. Okay, it's got these here. So if I want these, I just put these here. Okay, so oh dear. Right, this is where I start to lose the kind of value for a new user. It's like this is actually relatively complex. As a professional who does this for a living, I would really have to invest a decent amount of time understanding what the design system is here. Whether it's to my taste or not, that's not the question. The question is it easy to use for a new user, and does it sort of allow me to move quickly and change stuff and give me confidence? Or is it going to scare me off? Is it going to make me go, whoa, actually, Webflow is a lot more complex, and this is why I haven't done it before. I'm going to go back to Squarespace or Wizd, Or is it a case of going, oh, brilliant, I really want to invest my time in learning what style guides are and design systems and variables and stuff like that, and therefore this is the platform for me. Now, if you're a user in that headspace, then I think it's probably showing off the power, but I'm not sure generating an AI generated site is necessarily the path into that. So I'm just going to dive into variables quickly, because I've seen them here. So we've got site variables collection and a base collection, and then we've got design system. So I think these are libraries. No, this is a library. This one isn't a library. That's just for the site. So if I go into here, okay, there's no variables for this this site. It's got a design system library, which I don't know what that is. Manage library. Let's go and click on manage libraries. So I'm interested in this. So we've got so we've got this site's library. Then we've got these are the libraries in my workspace. Okay, so I'm not going to install those. I don't want those. So this is all I've got here. And then let's look at the variables in here. Okay, so we've got a design system. Brilliant. So I'd imagine this is colors, typography, spacing, things like that. So we've got core accent color, accent primary. We've got core neutral colors, core color tints, lots of tints. It's really hard with variables to see things. Like you can see that it's very hard to see the names. Just that's the UI. That's not to do the AI. It's just the UI for this is pretty poorly planned out. Even if I hover over it, I'd expect to see what that is. Oh, there it is. It does. Okay, so it just takes a while, but once I'm there, okay, so that works. And then we've got all these ones here, which are all transparent. I don't understand what's going on here. But there's some rhyme behind the reason. And then we've got all these neutrals that are all the same. Then we've got background color. Okay, so these are variables referencing other variables, and that makes sense. I do that a lot in my projects. Again, it's not immediately obvious how this works, but if I'm coming from a design background, maybe this is something that would be familiar, let's say. Then we've got text colors, border colors, radiuses, small radius, medium, and these are Oh, these are values, so these aren't even variables, even though they could be variables. Like I could like put in 0.25 as, so I could put that in like that instead. I don't know what the 0.25 times is. Don't know what that means. But yeah, I could do that. This is, yeah, I do something very similar with this. T-shirt size is brilliant. Spacing, again, I'm not sure what the X is, 4 times or 5 times. They just seem to be rems, so I'm not sure why you wouldn't just put rems in there. Then we've got the gaps. What gap is related to, I suppose, grids and maybe padding and stuff like that, maybe. Maybe that's the spacing. Then we've got fonts, heading font, body font. That makes a lot of sense. Base typography. Okay, heading sizes. H0. What is H0? Never seen H0 before. Maybe these are, don't know what H0 is. H1s. Okay, so these are all based on, so these aren't even based on variables. So yeah, okay. So there could be a little bit of inconsistency here, but you've got tablet, mobile, tablet. Yeah, tablet. Okay, I'm guessing, so this is desktop. Okay, so there's a bit of mobile responsiveness going on here. Letter spacing. So that's for all the headings. Text small. Text. I hate it when text is just text. Like, if it's not small, large, or XL, then it's medium. So call it medium. Then you've got block quotes, eyebrows, buttons. Okay. So this is maybe where I change my button, but it's like, again, it's hard to see. What's this one? Button primary BG background. Button primary BG hover. So background on hover. Primary text. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Inputs. There's so many variables here. This is like, this isn't odd for a complex site. This isn't odd for developers to have these many variables. Like, a lot of developers now would put them in different folders here, just to give it a bit more organization. But yeah, like section padding is 8 times, 7 times. That feels like a system. Again, I'm not sure what 8 times means, but I'd imagine 8 times is, what's 8 times? 8 times is 8 rem. Okay, so for some reason it's 8 times. Again, I'm not sure. Text links, IX. Okay, IX. Don't know what that is. All I do is animations, but I'm new to this, so I don't know what that is. But yeah, again, I'm not sure this is a design system and it covers a lot of bases, but I'm not sure it's the best way to introduce people to the power of variables. Why? Because you have to understand what's going on before you can really appreciate the power of this. So this is where I'm a little bit, it's like me when I use Claude. I ask it lots of JavaScript related problems. I go, hey, can you make this, do this? And it spits out a load of code, and I just copy and paste it into my project, and off I go. Now, that's a really kind of naive and short-sighted way of doing things, because yes, sometimes I stop and understand what that code is doing and how it's doing, and I'm learning as I go along. But a lot of the time, I'm just dumping it in, and I hope that it works. And then if it doesn't work, I tell Claude that it doesn't work, and it's sending these messages or whatever, and it gives me some feedback. But that's not how I'm going to learn how JavaScript works. And I'm not saying I need to learn how it all works, but the AI here, it doesn't feel like it's doing either job. It's not giving me a really good site. It's not teaching me how Webflow works explicitly. And that is where I'm feeling like it's fallen between cracks a little bit. Templates are not designed to teach. So I'm not saying they should be. AI, maybe it's not designed to teach, but it's for new users. So I'm just not sure why it's not toned down a little bit to give new users a bit more of a soft landing on how Webflow works. And then I think it would be a really, really good entry point, because it gets you somewhere. So what I would say is that, and we're not going to touch on Relume now, because Relume, like importing that, is kind of slightly different, but is that what I feel is a really missed opportunity here is overlaying AI on two things. One is templates, is saying, look, I've got a template here. Here we go. I've got a template, and I see that there's imagery and there's logos and there's copy. It's like, please, can I give you a prompt and you go in and match all that copy to my my business? Because there are things here that I don't do. There are things here that's not specific to my West Country recruitment agency. But if you could go ahead and go, look, I'm going to fill this in, then brilliant. Maybe the CMS, for example, in this instance, we've got a CMS. We've got blog posts. They've got some. AI can do this in the Webflow. When you're in Webflow, AI helps you with some of these blog posts. This is really good, and I guess that's where some of these templates get it from. But the fact is, I've now got a CMS that I can play with. Someone set it up for me. Again, I can go and have a poke around. But I would think that AI doing a lot of that would be really good. So you take a template, select your template, AI on top of it, and then maybe you go, do you know what? It's not quite right. I'll select another template. But the template itself, the ones that are used as a base, could be selected because they have been designed with a new user in mind. So they're a little bit softer to work with. They don't have as many, stacked utility classes on different things. There's not so much complexity in the various elements, and it doesn't. There's not as much of a learning curve to learn the design system as there is with the current AI solution. The other way as well, and this I feel is actually another, maybe something that's coming down the line, but is build mode. Is that we know that if we build out a site with lots of components, when you put it into build mode, it takes away the fear factor for the marketing team, is that they are now able to make pages and move things around and add buttons, change buttons, use props quite effectively, so with variants and modes to actually make a page that is like, oh, that's actually on brand. It's all the spacing, all the typography, everything is just consistent. I've just created a new page. So imagine AI was able to go, look at all these components that are built in this site. Take all these components, take my prompt, and create 1 page, 2 pages, 5 pages based on the fact that this is my toolbox and this is what I'm working with. Boom, straight away, you've got this sort of Relume-esque thing of creating a sitemap, organizing all those layouts, the hero sections, the testimonials, and they can create these pages in build mode. Now that, as a marketing team, feels like an absolute winning recipe. Would that drive new users? It would drive a huge amount of demand, because marketing teams around the country are wrestling with their website every day of the week. And this is primarily why Webflow works so well and has had so much traction, is because marketing teams come to developers and designers and go, we want to use Webflow because it means that we can control our website and don't have to email a developer every 5 minutes saying, can you change this, or don't get an answer, or all that kind of stuff. They look after the hosting, everything like that. So it brings the control back into the marketing team. And if you overlaid AI onto a build mode, like I've got clients who would bite your hand off. They'd pay hundreds of dollars a month to use a feature that said, I've got a new event, or I've got 3 new events. These are the dates. Boom, boom, boom. Spin up a few new pages, and it would pull all the components in, set the templates up. You go in and sense check them and publish them. Now that feels like a brilliant use of AI in the Webflow context. This, I feel, is just, as I said before, if it's to do with new users, and it very much is with new users, because developers wouldn't touch this with a barge pole, is I've come as a new user going, I want a new website, is like, I want to learn how to sail. Okay. So I want to get on the ocean and enjoy the fresh air and the sunshine and all the the exercise and activity that comes with sailing. I want to do that, okay? And Webflow is going to do this. And Webflow have gone, okay, brilliant. Put in your wishes into this little text box, and we're going to teach you how to make the most of the ocean. And you do that, and then they plonk you on this really super duper fast, complex boat, and they go, right, off you go. And you're just sitting there and you don't know what to do next. Yes, you're on the ocean. Yes, you're on a boat. Yes, you've got a life jacket on and you've got the sun is shining, but you can't go anywhere. So instead, what maybe they should do is put you in a smaller boat and let you learn the ropes a little bit more, like how to tack, how to put the sail up, take the sail down, a little bit more of the safety stuff in an environment that's a little bit more tactile and builds up your confidence slowly. Now, you get people who jump into that environment and go, oh, I want a bigger boat and I want a bigger boat. And yes, great, you can advance that way. But I feel that the AI, that's the only way I can describe it, is it's taking this promise of you're going to be an awesome sailor from a little prompt and pretending that that's how it all works. And I just feel like the execution here is just missing a trick. And it like, yes, there's a trend for AI to be used in everything these days. And I don't know how this world works, but maybe investors are going, hey guys, like pull your finger out, get AI on the table here. Like, you've got Lovable and Bolt are coming down the thing. Vibe coding is all big right now. People are creating websites just by talking to their machine. Like all this kind of stuff is out there and it's real, but maybe this is a bit of just a sticking plaster. Now, again, it's a beta, it's early days. There has been a lot of fanfare of it. I just wish it would have been a little bit more deliberate and a little bit more contextual to the real powers of Webflow, rather than, to be honest, being a little bit of a fun gimmick at the moment. So, yeah, hopefully that's given you a bit more insight into my so-called negativity. But I'm, on one hand, I am a little bit worried that AI is going to come take my job. But I'm not really that concerned when I see things like this. But in a year's time, who knows what that'll be doing? Like, what would be amazing is if I could create those components and then AI comes and generates all the pages based on a sitemap I give it, for example, or a sitemap that's generated off a prompt. I can see that coming down the line really, really soon. Does that make me nervous? It makes me a little bit nervous, but I feel confident in my ability to work with businesses on their approach, their tone of voice, their copywriting, their strategy, their objectives and conversion rate tracking and all that kind of stuff, that I feel confident that there's still room there. But it might be that the old school sort of Figma to Webflow conversion gigs where you stick your earphones on and just head down converting everything and pixel pushing, that may be not a good gig to get into over the coming years. So yeah, like kudos guys for putting it live, but I feel like it's just I say it's fallen between the cracks a little bit, as it doesn't benefit new users, it doesn't benefit existing users, and I think there's definitely other places where AI could really supercharge Webflow in the minds of your target audience, which is marketeers and Webflow developers and designers. So anyway, it's all fun and games, and hopefully you found this valuable at least. And shout out to Connor and to Josh for doing videos as well on this. And yeah, hopefully this gives you a bit more context about my tweeting and first impression video from a few days ago.